first step to actually learning how to channel. So, if you look at the radio, you go to this station, you get that. You go to that station, you get that. Everything in the universe is just like the radio. You tune into a specific frequency, and that's what you're able to pick up. The reason a lot of people can't communicate with spirit, but they can pick up bits and pieces, is because they're locked into a specific frequency. So opening up and changing frequency is a whole way of going about that. But in order to open up to channel, there's certain things that you have to do. Did I lose anybody yet? I try not to be too simple, but at the same time, there's certain things that you just have to do it the way you do it. Why are some people the question in reference to why are some people not as easy to communicate with others? Let me use an example. Sometimes when people cross over, this takes us to the astral plane, that place where you sleep, and that first level when someone steps out of body and starts to cross over. In that state, there's a lot of times where if you can go to attempt to communicate with someone, they don't know they're dead. They're asleep. They didn't step up, wake up, and cross over. It's very important when you cross over. That's where I think I don't subscribe to the right religion. I think they all have a purpose, and they're all, for each individual. It's an individual thing. But the state that you're in when you cross over is the reality you're going to experience when you cross over. So if you think about it, I had a woman, and her son was in a car accident, and it was a convertible, and he was ejected from the car. He did not know where he was, and it was a very, almost, I want to call it odd, but then most people think what they do is odd. The first thing coming through, she hadn't told me that that's how he crossed over, but she wanted to communicate with her son. The first thing that came through was this feeling, where's my body? That's how real it is. When you cross over, you literally, I know a lot of times people think that when we cross over, there's a party waiting, or, there's this whole big thing. You do go through a review of your life, and you do need to, if you cross over and you have some really bad negative habits, they're not magically gone. That's the vibration and frequency. That's what I'm talking about, frequency. What you're vibrating, how you feel, the energy that you live. That's why you want to raise your frequency while you're still in the physical reality. Those are the planes that I'm talking about. We're here in this physical reality to experience density, but we go through density to go back to spirit. So there's certain lessons, there's certain reasons that the life we have is the life that we have. And so going back to lake attracts lake, in order for us to raise the frequency and cross over, and maybe it's a funny word to use, but I use it all the time, to become more magical, to manifest. We manifest the faster the frequency, the rate of speed. People always say, picture it and it will become a reality. Make it happen with mental energy. The faster the vibration, the higher the frequency, the more powerful you are, the quicker. People say, I just thought of that, and there it was, because they're vibrating on a very high frequency. So, do I have any other questions? Anything that might, no? Yes?
So it's not necessarily a physical thing. If you're tired, you could still be vibrating at a high...
Absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely. Okay. But when we talk about spirit, and that's what I'm saying, so when people cross over, they haven't changed that much. It's like I'll say, if your grandmother couldn't give you the lotto numbers when she was here, there's a very good chance when she crosses over, she doesn't have access to that frequency. It didn't magically change. And then the same thing with karma. You don't automatically remove things that you, how how would I put it? I think karma is a word that's very overused, but a lot of people might not. Karma is cause and effect. You set something in motion. You set energy in motion. You might kill somebody in this lifetime. You might think you got away with it, but you don't get away with anything. Karmically, you're still carrying that energy, and it has to be released from your energy system or your vibration. So the simple three things when I first started in reference to communicating is the person that crossed over, how they crossed over, what state they were in when they crossed over, and can we change the frequency that they're on by praying for them, by sending them light, by communicating with them, by helping them? Absolutely. So when I said that, people at times, they go into the astral plane and they're asleep and they don't know they've crossed over. And that's a space you really don't want to go to. It doesn't mean eventually, without some type of intervention here, that your spirit guides, and that's what's in the handout. That's where literally learning how to communicate is to become familiar with the guides and the spirits that are working with you to help you communicate and channel. Ma'am?
I just want to ask what you're saying, but what if you were cremated?
That doesn't really change anything.
It doesn't change the spirit.
Actually, that question I think it might almost go to religion a little bit in the sense that I want to be cremated, but if a person isn't cremated, I don't necessarily think it's going to hinder their progress any. Different things about crossing over, and that's a whole different avenue, but there are people who think that someday, and it's called an ascension, that we're slowly ascending to a different type of a life force, exponentially. Our frequency is becoming more and more powerful, and as the energy rises, the more powerful we are, so does the darkness become more powerful. It's like a constant yin and yang. By having cremation, you're just cleansing. If you feel that your physical body, some people think that, if they die from cancer or their physical body we're going to die from something. What did you die from? Anything serious? But, you're going to die, and your physical body is definitely, some more than others. Cremation. I think that's a personal thing.
But you still would have the spirit. You could still.
Well, your spirit has already determined what it's going to do when you crossed over. So at the point of cremation, it really is. It depends on where, whether you want to bury the body or whether you're going to, cremate it. Oh, I did that. Cremate it. It sounds like a new rap song. That would be bad. Could you imagine? Let's cremate ourselves. Not so good. But that's a lot of things have to do. A lot of belief systems have to do with religion. So that's why I said, there's sitting, for 24 hours, or there's opening a window, or there's having a wake. That's all just for healing, for the healing process. But people do get stuck crossing over. And it's not exactly answering about cremation, but people do get stuck crossing over. It does happen. It's not uncommon. Excuse me.
Isn't there where does the soul come into this? Because if you're cremated, this is just supposed to be a shell that we inhabit, our soul inhabits. So
Well, you are your soul. You're temporarily vibrating a
So whether
frequency.
you're cremated or chopped up or whatever,
Your soul leaves the body. That's
Well,
all.
it's only a
It's
body,
only a
but
shell. Your soul goes.
your essence of you is what's crossing over.
Yeah, exactly. But that's why it's not only religion, it's just, as you're not going to let the body lay there either, right?
No.
There has to be a ritual type of how you want to.
Cremation shouldn't affect your crossing over.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. That's good.
Can you tell somebody who's alive, who you have?
You can do that, but I want to say 1, 2, 3 things. You shouldn't, you shouldn't, you shouldn't. Unless you have permission. Because, right, a person doesn't have to be deceased, but that's more of a telepathy. And mediums are different. There's many different types of mediums. Like, I don't want to get too advanced because I figured we'd get to a place where I would just channel, but I wanted to make a point of it that it's not a game. You know, you wouldn't sit down on a Ouija board after 3 beers and channel. You really have to respect the energy. You know,
You haven't seen the person in a while, and you don't know their state of health, because the last time you heard they weren't in good health. Is there an ethics that say you can't try to channel to get some information about them, or to send them?
well, that's not even spying. My point was that there's a lot of different, I call it ethics. I mean, if you even, like I teach Reiki, that's an energy, right? You're not even supposed to heal someone or send them healing without their permission. You know, if they're unconscious, then you have to ask their higher self. And the higher self is a whole, you know, I should probably explain some of that now too, but the higher self is your oversoul. It's another level of your conscious awareness. It's where you go when you leave the physical reality. It's your soul goes back to the higher self. That is part of your whole multi-dimensional self. And so in that area, to stay with your question, in that area is where you're communicating. So you're asking the person, do I have permission from your higher self to communicate? So it's really the purpose, you know, is it for good or bad, and is it allowed? You know, sometimes people have karma, and we want to take it away, but we can't, because it's still their karma. You know, why are some people not healed? Because they choose not to be. Why are they holding on to the illness they manifested or the virus they have? It's because on that frequency, that's what they have. So they have to get past that. So if you're saying that you want to access information about them or directly from them, when you said channel, you don't mean channel their spirit. You mean access information.
Well, I'd like to channel the spirit, but if not, I'll take the second best. I mean,
Well, no, I don't mean that, but do you mean direct contact with their energy system?
Yeah, can that be done?
People do that all the time. That's a form of telepathy,
Okay.
right? You know what they're thinking, you know, or you know when someone's thinking, or you know when they're going to call, or you're like, oh my God, my son was just in an accident, and the phone rings, and it's like, yeah, I know, I was just in an. You have, that's the part about being on a higher frequency, and that's like frequency is like having more bars on your phone. That's all you really want. More bars, more communication, right? So if your intention is to help them, you're just trying to communicate. Any other questions? Hi.
Basically, when you cross over, once you pass that stage, like my husband passed away, that he's 29 again. Now, I've heard that a few times. I don't know.
You literally mean 29 and not 31 or 27. You mean 29, right?
Yeah, I've heard that expression before. I don't know if